Welcome to the SEO Nerd Digital Marketing Podcast, where we interview digital marketing experts in the industry. Today we're interviewing Charlene McCraney, Search Engine Optimization Specialist and Head of Blogger Startup School. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today, Charlene?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking, Mike. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So, for a business owner that knows the term SEO but can't quite explain it, how would you define SEO in a couple of sentences?
That's a very great question. Thanks so much for asking. I work with primarily a lot of small business owners, and just like you said, they have heard the term a lot. People keep telling them that it's important, but they aren't quite sure what exactly they should be doing, right? So, the best way I would define it, and the best way I do define it for my clients, is SEO is everything that you do in the process that you do to your website to make it more searchable for their search engines. I like to tell my clients Google wants to know that your website is the bomb.com. They want to know that you have the juice and you have the information that people are searching for when they do everyday search results. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything in your power to make sure that your website is, one, searchable, and to make sure that you have the relevant things on your website so people can easily find your services and your products, and you can really find more of your ideal clients and they can really see what your website is about.
That's good. I totally agree. What is content marketing, and what are the keys to doing it right?
Yeah, so I come from, as far as like my background myself, I started out as a blogger. I love to write ever since I was a little girl. I love blogging. I still love blogging now. And when I talk to my clients about blogging, sometimes they get a little afraid of it because they say, like, oh, I'm not a blogger. I'm not a blogger. And when I reframe it, to them to say, well, think about it as content marketing, because that's really what it is. So content marketing is the information that you have on your website and how you're putting it out there in order to be able to have people to find it. So whether that's you just bragging about your own product, whether that's you asking some frequently asked questions, really trying to get my clients to understand what are the problems that your customers or your clients may have, and how can you create content around that so they find it and you can help them and solve their problems, because that's really what people are looking for on the internet, right? Most search queries are questions, right? And they're trying to figure out, how do I do this, what is this, what time is this, or whatever the question may be in the search. So with your content marketing, the key to doing it right is making sure that you're answering the question, making sure that you're solving the problem, and making sure that your content is well structured and it has great value and it's very in depth. So when someone does land on your website, they do find you on Google. They're like, oh, this is exactly, what I need. Let me share it. Let me like it. Let me bookmark it, whatever they would like to do. But the key to doing it right is you really have to understand what is your audience searching for online. If you don't know what your clients or your customers are searching for, you're going to have a really hard time with content marketing. So the keys to doing it right is to definitely make sure you get some good keyword research in there as well.
100%. I agree, especially now with voice search, with all these devices on your wall. Like, people are going to ask a question, and they're not even going to be typing it in. They're just going to ask, and Google's going to reply. So 100% agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Why is blogging in particularly so important for SEO?
I love that you asked me that question, because like I said, I do come from a blogging background, and I could write all day. I could blog all day.
That's a good skill to have.
Yeah, it's definitely a good skill to have. It gets me in a little trouble when it comes to my clients, but because I want to do so much, but it's only so many hours in the day. But blogging in particular is important for SEO because we all know that SEO is driven by written text. So you want to make sure that you are doing whatever is in your power to get more written text on your website. And again, so you can rank for more keywords on your website as well. Blogging is the easiest way to do that. I don't really care what type of product or business you have or anything. Blogging is a way for you to get your foot in the game, I guess I would say, with SEO, like to really be like playing this SEO game. Now, I know there are larger websites, as far as e-commerce and things like that, they do very well with SEO based on domain authority, if they have some paid ads or anything like that. But particularly for blogging, just thinking about all the different ways, like I said before, that you can engage with your customer, the different ways that you can find them online just by answering simple questions about your product, just by giving them more information about your product, or by solving a life hack, just doing anything that you can. And with blogging, the more posts that you're creating, you're getting more URL structures on your website. You're having a better chance for you to show up and rank well for those keywords for Google. Google, can really just get a better understanding of what your website is about. So that's something I really try to get my clients to understand, even if, they're not into blogging, and I tell them, you don't have to blog every day. It's not like you're an Instagram fashion blogger. That's not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We're looking for really well thought out, very in-depth pieces, long form, of course, if that's what you want, and that's what I recommend. But, just getting them to understand that I don't want you to be, out here just creating content just to create it 4 times a month. I always tell my clients that it's quality over quantity. I'd rather you do one really great long post, long form article once a month, and really, really get into what your customer is searching for. I'd rather you do that once a month than just throw something together 4 times a month because you keep hearing that blogging is important. So I really go through that with my clients so they can understand what I mean by blogging and content marketing.
Yeah, it's really important because those are the pages that actually get indexed that show up on the search results, right?
Yeah. So, I have a few e-commerce clients, and just going back, looking at their analytics and looking at their search positions and how things have performed over time, content that I've written for them, blog posts that I've written for them. And I'm like, you're getting more traffic to your blog post pages, just through everyday search than you're getting just to your regular e-commerce page, and some of your products as well in some instances, and maybe some of your collections. So yeah, it's just great all around.
Absolutely. What are keywords and how does a company go about keyword research?
Great question as well. So yeah, keywords, they're essentially the search terms that people are putting into Google, Bing, Yahoo. Those are the search queries that people are putting in every day. And a company goes about doing keyword research. There's a couple of ways you can do it. I would say first and foremost, as SEOs, we have certain professional tools that we like to use, whether it's SEMrush or Moz or Ahrefs. I personally like Ahrefs. That's my favorite. So a company could go about doing keyword research that way, of course. But the easiest way, I always recommend people to do keyword research when they're first starting out, especially if they're just kind of getting their foot wet in the game and they're trying to understand what this SEO thing is all about. I just tell them to go straight to Google. I say, go to Google, type in a couple words, see what comes up in auto-populate.
Yes,
Whatever comes up in
absolutely.
auto-populate, that's what people are searching for. And I say, hey, look at the people also ask section. Look at the bottom for the related search queries. Those are all the keywords that you really need to know when you're first doing some type of, initial keyword research. Now, of course, we know it gets more in depth when you're looking at keyword difficulty and, backlinks and things like that. But if you're just trying to get started, definitely Google is going to tell you a lot. And for our, the listeners who don't know a lot about SEO, Google is big brother. They're not just showing you related search terms and people also ask section, just to be nice. That, because their main goal is to make sure that people are getting the answers that they want from using their platform. So it's like Google is basically screaming at you saying, hey, this is what people are searching for. So you have to know that, and you have to look at Google through that lens as a business and as an SEO versus your everyday average person that's just doing a Google search.
110%. What should local business owners be focusing on to get more online leads?
I love working with local businesses and local SEO. I think it's so fun. One, I'm a big proponent of small business just overall, and I love supporting local businesses. Here in my state of Texas, I love supporting small local Black-owned businesses as well. So hands down is Google My Business. Local business owners, you need to have that. It's a no-brainer. It's a non-negotiable. A lot of people, they run and they get Facebook accounts and Instagram accounts and things like that. And while that's all great, you need a Google My Business account. There is no
Yes.
way to get around that. And what I like to tell people is, I don't even want, because this is what happens, Mike. A lot of people set up a Google My Business account and it's like a set it and forget it. It's like a
Yes.
checklist type thing, like, oh, yeah, we got an account. But I actually tell my local business owners, I need you to look at Google My Business as like another secondary type of social media account. And the
Yeah.
reason why I want you to do that, because I want you to go in and be updating it every week with new photos. I want you to be having new posts. I want you to be answering comments and questions and encouraging people to leave reviews. I want you to be updating, if you have special hours for COVID. I want you to be actively engaging with your Google My Business account, just like you would your Facebook account, to help you get into that local pack, in that top 3 search area. So a lot of people
Absolutely.
do set it and forget it, but Google My Business, hands down. And, really search and take advantage of your local business directories in your city. They love that. Your local chamber of commerce, they want you to submit your business, to
That's a
their,
free backlink right there.
yeah, free backlink,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm like, don't sleep on that stuff because it works.
Yeah, definitely. Google Local is a first step when people, decide to go out and they're looking at that and they're looking at your reviews and stuff. So I know people who sleep on it, and I've worked for people who slept on it and their ratings were bad and they had no idea they had all these bad ratings. And that's what people look at, and they think twice about even, calling or going to the store. So it's definitely important what you said. I agree with
Yeah,
that 100%.
cool.
How long does SEO take, and how do you know if SEO is working or starting to work for your company?
This is probably my favorite SEO question. Because when I talk to clients, they're like, you know, I'm making this investment, because I do let them know it is an investment because I'm not a magician and I don't control the Google algorithm. But I really get them to understand that it's the process. So to answer your question, how long SEO takes depends on the particular website, and it depends on the business, the company, and just your industry overall. Maybe you have an industry that's very competitive in terms of like your main SEO, your main keywords for your industry, right? Like digital marketing,
Yes,
or
extremely competitive.
extremely competitive,
Yes.
right? So it just really depends. But how if SEO is starting to work, you have to have some type of metrics that you are tracking monthly, quarterly, to get an understanding of, hey, is our organic search traffic increasing? I talk to so many business owners who never even look at their Google Analytics. Like they have it set up. It's one of those things, again, they set it and forget it, but they're not reviewing it monthly to see, hey, how much traffic did we get from organic this month? How much did we get from social? How much did we get from our email marketing? How much did we get from direct? That's one of my main drivers to see, like, okay, this is working for me because my organic traffic is increasing a little bit, right? The other way is by going back to your keyword research, tracking those keywords that you're trying to rank for, and tracking your rankings and your positions and things like that, to say like, hey, I know we published this blog post about 2-3 months ago. Like, let's see how it's doing in the search positions. Like, when we first started out, maybe it was like page 5 or 6 of Google. Like, has it gone up? Have we increased any spots? What may have happened. So those are the things that I'm actively tracking with my clients as well. So you have to establish first what are going to be your metrics and what are the things that you're going to measure to see if it's working for your company or if it's not. And then also, one of the easiest ways too is word of mouth. Like, ask your customers, how did you find me? That should be somewhere on your review, your follow up, depending on type of business you have. You want to know how people are finding your website and buying your products, because that's going to let you know a lot just right there. If you are a small business owner and you're like, hey, I can't afford to invest in these tools. I don't know how to track this. I'm barely looking at my analytics. Get it straight from the horse's mouth. Get it from your customer.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And it's always a saying in SEO, SEO is a marathon, not a race. So,
Yes.
you always got to keep up with it, because there's always someone working hard to get to the first page, the first 10 positions.
Yeah, I tell my clients too, like you said, SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. And I say it's just a big competition. And maybe that's why I love SEO so much, because I'm a very competitive person. So I'm like, hey, this is a competition. We're fighting to get on that first page and on that first spot. And these are all the things that we're going to do. So if you are a competitive person, what are you doing? You're studying your competitors. You're trying to see what their stats are. You're trying to see, what do I need to do to get just a little bit better. Like athletes, you're watching the tape of the other team to see how they're moving and how they're shaking and what's working for them. It's the same with SEO. You gotta see what your competitors are doing to beat them.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to move into the lightning round. We're going to ask you a couple of questions randomly and just answer them as fast as you can. What is your favorite book?
Right now, definitely Profit First by Mike McCallowitz.
And why do you like that book?
I like it because as I continue to grow my business, I just want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to, make sure it is in great financial success. It's not the first business that I had, so I'm always looking for ways to practice financial prudence, and I've heard nothing but rave reviews about it.
Oh, I gotta check out that book myself.
Yeah,
Is
you definitely
this is definitely not my first business either, so
should.
I had many failures in the past, but hopefully this won't work out. All right, next question is, what is your favorite piece of advice?
Ooh, that's such a good one. Okay, I know it's a lightning round. Favorite piece of advice, something my mother always tells me: always ask for what you want and don't be afraid of no, because if they tell you no, you're right where you started back in the first place.
That was good. That almost hit my soul when you said that. That was strong. Yeah, that was strong. That was good. So, Charlene, if someone wants to get in touch with you from the podcast, what's the best way they can do that?
Yeah, sure. So the best way you can do that is definitely on Instagram. I'm at Charlene McCraney. You can hit me up at hi@bloggerstartupschool.com. And actually, I am working on like getting a whole new website. So you can actually email me at hi@charlenemccraney.com, because I'll have a new website launching at the beginning of 2021. And then you can check me out right now at bloggerstartupschool.com. And in 2021, it'll just be redirected to charlenemccraney.com. So you know all about those redirects, Mike.
Yes, I'll add your links in the show notes, and also I'll put them on the screen as well. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed that episode. Please be sure to check out SEOnerd.com. SEOnerd.com is online SEO software and conversion tracking software that can help you